Alright, hello. It's time to get a little extra real here. I live in a group of a house that does this. And I don't mind reading the lessons and seeing what's going on. Just because I have an avenue of idea of the grander scheme of things because of what I've come to know and honor. In this lesson in 98, which is really interesting, I accept my part in God's plan for salvation, to let the illusions go, and side with the truth, which is we all don't know none of it. We only know what we can recognize, and not of magic and other things like that, because it's all just a vibrational scheme of things, of the way things are. Now, last October of 2010, the only October 2nd of 2010, I was asked a question the night before by a higher entity asking me what divine right order meant. And only in our logical minds, in our thinking minds, can we try to even fathom to understand the words and the things that we are trying to communicate here on this planet. And right now, these times are going to get rough all over. Bigger rough. We are coming to an end of a cycle, of many cycles. And I know people are feeling that time is compressing and energies are just so outstanding it's hard for them to handle, and other things like that are occurring. Jupiter and Gemini is a fight if we allow it. But I'm going to give you some clues about what divine right order are, okay? It's an essence of thought of perfection, which is not possible no matter how it is tried to become. Because there is a bigger golden rule. There is a universal law that sets up the first tones for things to manifest from, and by our intent will become. Divine right order is a sense of being a peace towards pure being of essence. Now, that might be at peace. It's a sense of being at peace towards being pure being of essence, which means you are yourself no matter what is occurring through somebody else's behavior. You're either going to feed it into, if it's joy, more joy, or if it's anger, more aggression and more ugly. More things that'll be against instead of for. Okay, that'll become more dark and chaos than light and joy. Divine right order is a set of conditions or organic bases of cycles out of human control, due to it being nature's way of its total cycles. Galactically, universally, solar-wise, etheric, material third dimension, all things are occurring and changing and evolving in a faster pace. But we need to keep and try to find the divine right order of ourselves so it can manifest outside us and all over the rest of the area. Divine right order is a harmony and the appreciation of life in all its conditions, no matter what happens. Divine right order is a shared harmony to know, to will, to understand this self of being, and that other beings are, as they are, all self and right to be. Even if they want to fly off the handle, pound upstairs and beat on doors and call people names at 3 a.m. in the morning. Doesn't mean you're not going to react, it just means how will you react. So a divine right order is also a way to enjoy the existence and to create a condition of peace and harmony within towards self, and then it is shared without. I guess I said that twice. Divine right order is an understanding that life is always in change, so not to set limits. We're constantly placing seeds. We're constantly cultivating the environment, which is the soil, by what nutrients we feed it. Are we going to feed it the pure joy of love of being, or are we going to create a chaos and hassle and disharmony? Because everything begets everything, which means as you plant the seed as a cucumber, you're not going to get a squash. You're going to get a cucumber. Now, Another divine order way of being is having no expectations, not to let down when things don't go the way expected. Oh, not to be let down. Okay, I forgot the B part. Because it's all out of our control. Divine right order is a surrender to the all nature and give thanks for all which such is with respect. So be minded in your footsteps, your actions, your words, what you're creating in the essence of understanding that you are for yourself responsible only for what is happening around you. Not everybody else's behavior, not always a mirror reflection. It is usually just the cause of understanding to build the stamina and the statute of your inner self being. Divine right order is a way to learn to comply to nature and the assemblage of being as such as a basic being, which means from the center of the earth out to the cosmos, guys. Because it all fractally gets vibrated out there. From within, so without. Divine right order is also a belief and a way to not take sides and to be centered with all issues. So that's a balance kind of thing. Whatever you feed into it, it's going to grow and want to be fed more. So it just depends. Do you want to feed the party or do you want to feed the jail? Fear or love? Light or dark? Divine right order is a never to make judgment upon any condition, so not to get caught up in an occurrence or situation. That's all basically out of our control anyway. Because to me, divine right order is the ingredients that makes up the thing called what we are consciously seeing and relating and reacting to. Divine right order is an understanding to not belittle self or anyone else in its existence, which means no judgment. Also belittling, no judgment. No judgment. How are we to know? By all divine right order in Christ consciousness, there is no way we should judge it, or even know that we would be putting the right labels, which should not be happening, on the situation or occurrence to have it happen anyway. Divine right order is also a way to not take life so personal as to take it out on others or self. It's also another reactionary thing. Divine right order is a love, and a love to have appreciation for the all, from the things that are creepy crawly to the things that are unknown, our cosmic family. It's the only truth, okay? Love is the only truth. Divine right order is a sense to not cater to or make issues of others or self. Did I just say that? Oh, well, maybe not. But to cater to, because otherwise that's codependency. That means, somebody will have a mastery over you. And I have no master. I have no lord. I have nobody telling me except my own personal self what the heck is going on with Mona. Alright, divine right order. No idea to not give in to false realities or obscure illusions. So it's all in a belief system, and understand that everything is still part of a vibrational illusion no matter what. It is rather interesting that our senses are what holds us back from understanding and true seeing of the whole spirit, because we have the smell, we have the taste, we have the touch, we have the hearing, and I enjoy all those things. I am so happy to be in the human body right now. But the whole situation is that sometimes we take it personal because we're calling to us the pain and the aggravation and the stink and hearing it wrong and judging it for what we don't know, so it's not real. Well, good on that, people. Alright. A way to divine right order, okay, is a way for all forgiveness is necessary for and from others. For and from others. So once you give, you'll get. Even if it isn't in their reality, it should become in your reality, because forgiveness is one of the keys of the dissembling of the chaos. Okay? It actually helps break it apart into what you give is what you'll get. Okay? Also, divine right order is an understanding that nothing is exactly perfect. I think that was the first one. But right, well, I mean, we're each different. Even as we're one, and in Creator's mind we're perfect, we're still not equally perfect. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because we're from Source, not of Source, even though we have a piece of us, of Source, within us that is trying to help become closer to the Source. Divine right order is a non-plan, because there is no set plan of process that will work out under stress of any progress. Which means if you're having stress under progress, you're trying too hard. And divine right order is the one who hands you your tools and your materials to flip and make it through this excursion of life, or the job of what we're here under, which is truly to find the inner pure spirit of ourself, not the human labor force or slavery that has been brought down upon us of our consciousness that this is the way it's supposed to be. No, 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 no. It's not the way it's supposed to be. Divine right order is a way to understand that humans have no real control in this life. And divine right order is an idea that it is how we humans react towards conditions of being, and how and what the rhetoric is, or the reaction is. I always try to have band-aids ready, okay? So after everybody else has done their spit for spat or anything else like that, I'll be there to help. Doesn't mean I'm not aware. I'm being aware. I am beware. And not going to feed into somebody else's delusion of a power play that turns everything inside out. Everything. Everything. All your past misjudgments upon yourself will come to face fact, because you're having to deal with somebody else who can't understand that they have to face theirs. So they're trying to implement them on others, so then it snowballs into a bigger condition that somebody's going to get hurt. Now, this just doesn't make sense to me, but it's okay, because I understand the process, and I'm not feeding into it. I'm not going to get into it to the best of my ability. Divine right order is a way to learn to trust all with reason of the not having control, which is so true. You know how many psychic times I've saved my own ass, because if I would have tried it my way, I am so glad that myself stepped in and the me went, okay, I heard you. Divine right order is a way to correct the patterns of direct action, so to not make mistakes or discussions that inhibit the way of the uncontrolled. Decisions. I can't read my own typing. A way to correct the patterns of direct action, so not to make mistakes or decisions that inhibit the way of the uncontrolled. Because it's the divine right order that's in control through the universal law of what our intent is that manifests, so then things become what we ask of them, but maybe not always in the way we think we deserve them. So the ego thinks it should have all its grandiosity, but it's not that way. Divine right order is an understanding to not take sides, to understand it is what it is, whatever. Divine right order is a way to understand there is no ownership of or with life. Right, it's all Source. These things are all not ours. The only thing that's ours is our purpose to be here, to choose to try to help everybody else understand unconditional love and set the seeds to plant so others can go out there and fortify the Mother Earth that brought or brings or is our stable existence here called life. We don't own any of this. None of it. And we have to give thanks for those things that we are borrowing. Big time. Divine right order is a way to not question, but to investigate the inner light of why, when, and who, and with what wonder for creation is in this existence. Trust your heart. I mean, everything that I knew in my heart as a child, I have succeeded except one way. And then through trying to achieve those things through my heart, not always my mind, but the mind was there because you have to learn the mathematics and the vibrations on how to assess the materials needed for any kind of those accomplishments. Granted, sometimes the DNA turns it right on and you just have to kind of veg into it. But otherwise, divine right order is a way to not question, but to investigate the inner light of why, when, who, and with wonder for a creation of this existence. So quit asking. Divine right order is a way to not weave a mask of taught behavior or false delusion of life's illusion. It's a way to not weave a mask of taught behavior, a false delusion of life's illusions. The mustas, shouldas, coulda, woulda, benas, all the things that set an ideology and a goal that's somebody else's idea. You're not here to help other people's ideas manifest for them. Now, if it's a group effort of like sending out the love and making some joy and peace and partying down a little bit, and just creating a harmony out there that just radiates into everybody's beings, yeah, that's pretty cool. But not a taught behavior of anger and misguidedness and false illusions of expectations that things are supposed to be a certain way. Because life isn't like that. Alright, divine right order. An understanding to use common sense of assisting others to raise their vibrations above the disillusions of the illusions, which is the unconditional love. And basically providing the area of peace. Not making error judgments and thinking that we're all not here for a reason. Yeah, we all feel that way sometimes because it gets so confusing that we think that if we want it, we should have it. But that's not always the way it's supposed to be because that's not always divine right order. The universal law and the understanding of the cosmos will create it a whole lot better than what you might think you could. Divine right order is a way to create a state of bliss, live it, and then to share it. Because you find your peace. And you create your joy. And then the harmony just keeps going out and out and out like a song or a symphony in that. It really does become a harmonic state, especially when you have hummingbirds fly around you and butterflies and things like that. Mother Earth and all that is trying to show us and teach us the peace and how to be the serenity that we are here and allowed to have if we only want it and call it to us by our behaviors and our reactions. And our expectations, all those things. We have to really see to consider that we are making our dream. Yes, it can be an illusion and everything else, but we are making our dream, okay? Divine right order is an example with environment, conformity to a basic nature, co-creating essence of creation for the betterment of mankind. Well, it's actually all kind. It's respect of the resources that we gather, giving thanks for the resources that we have been able to acquire to sustain ourselves, and just, cohabitate people. None of this mine, me, because it really is a shared experience. We're breathing each other's air, we're drinking each other's water, etc., etc. Alright, divine right order is an issue to be centered and to not take sides no matter what the issues. I think we've been through that, but otherwise, if you're without something, enjoy the without something, because the next time you get it the way you like it, you'll enjoy it a whole lot more. So quit taking sides. Nothing's good or bad, right or wrong, la 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 la. It is what it is, whatever. Alright, divine right order. Okay, a lifestyle to be the true self and create unconditional love for all. be it the cabinet doors not being slammed, to nobody stomping up the stairs and not raising their voice in some kind of misconceived notion that they think they know it, so they should react that way. Nope. People hear you a lot more sometimes if you whisper than if you yell, because people will shut off their hearing if you're aggressively yelling. Alright, now. Divine right order is a needed assemblage of order, of peace and joy, and will it to themselves, and then to give it to others for betterment of life's blessings. Okay? Repeat, but that's alright. Divine right order is an all of forgiveness is necessary due to it all being out of our control, so why try fight it? Cheers! I go about through 24 of those kinds of things a day, so it's not easy. I am not claiming to be anything but Mona, okay, people? 2 more. Divine right order is a all or nothing being, because nothing is ever exactly perfect, so why try to make it so? And it is what it is, so to not lose control of the sense of being and having and creating divine right order. Which, in footnotes, just for the heck of it, divine right order is the only Christ consciousness that counts in this illusion, representing joy, not games of chance of mind or with the mind, you know, like picking on people, because they're not all in the same consciousness. See, Christ wouldn't do that. There are so many levels and there's so many attributes of the ways and things of how we collect the light source of the divine right order, which is Christ consciousness. It's one of the best harmonics once you get it, and even though sometimes it could just be a fleeting moment, once you get that feeling and knowing it's all okay, we're safe, there is no other thing out there but the Lord, or the Christ consciousness, because I don't believe in lords, but the Christ consciousness, because peace is but an occurrence of the will to follow, to denny the light of the now for unconditional being. Which means, basically, don't try to shine too bright a light on any one issue because it's all equal in the same. Doesn't mean you can't add to it. It just means that you don't take all the other light away and focus just on one thing. Because that's like in politics. It's very dangerous. You don't want to go there. Same with religions, because it's all the war crap. We don't need that, because that's what fear is. And, you know, don't be in fear to be yourself, because that's what you're here to learn to be, is to collect all those resources through all the past existences of your lifetimes, etc. To be here in the now to help make a bigger change than whatever any of us have been clued in on, okay? But you don't have to follow or lead, but be as not to make wholly simple with ego. So basically it's saying that the ego, you know, if you think you're following, then you've kind of lost yourself, because sometimes following just puts you into somebody else's notion, and they don't know any more or less than what you know for what you are being here. And then to lead, well, who wants that responsibility? And who knows, just like, you know, the guy who made all the people drink the Kool-Aid. No thank you. And those are both ego-centered confrontations. And not to fool around with others, Christ, as per se, be respectful of everybody's own perspective of what it is, because this is why they're here, is to just expand their perspective. You know? Don't expect heaven, but create it, because it is us that we dare to know, to will, to be silent. And sometimes silence is golden, but sometimes the silence is 3 simple words that can change a whole system, is I love you, or hey, let's get a hug, or just something to help bring out the love in the condition. Communication means a lot in all many factors, even if it's just looking at somebody and smiling. It's all necessary, people. We don't have to be fully silent and hide away, etc. But there are really no secrets, no promises, or beliefs for, by, and with, because we are the fractals of light to show the way in peace. Not to lose sight of the facts behind truth of emotions or the unconditional expression in life's mission. But it sure is nice if you know what you give is what you get. And if you want some peace and some harmony and joy, then I'd put that in your plan for salvation. And that's just on page 175. This book has a lot of good issues. I have a lot of dog tales, because it helps provide some light, which is really not a bad thing, but it's not the only thing. Nope. But it is a fun book and excursion of what's going on. But I had to put out their divine right order, because so many people are just fighting with themselves and inside a dilemma that they've created among themselves. The strength is now going within and not taking anything personally. Know that the divine right order are the ingredients for your tools to become who it is that you're here to be, no matter what. So, as extra noises are occurring, and I really just don't want them blasting into this video, I'm going to take a light and say peace out. Nice seeing you. And everybody, please, just quit taking life so personal. It's beautiful. Live in joy, love, and create peace. Bye. Maybe bye. Where's the button?